Hello everyone, welcome back to Belmont Bunch. We're going to do our Atlantic Division preview in this episode. Article is below if you want to see the written version. And welcome back, and here we go, cue the intro! We're going to start with a team that nobody would have picked to finish last place again this year. That's not right. Okay, that's right. So, take two. Ottawa. Last year, their stats were...
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
And this year, I'm thinking more of a...
No! God, please, no! No!
But we'll see. I'm excited for this team because there's a little bit less of the sort of Erik Karlsson, Mark Stone, all this drama around the team and players getting traded and such, Hoffman. And so now we have an opportunity to see the youngins on this team actually get to do something. We'll see Brady Tkachuk coming off a really good rookie year. He'll be playing with Colin White, who just got extended and looked very good. We have, other than that, not a ton of scoring. Defensively, we don't have a lot of defense. So why was I so optimistic? It's more just I'm excited to see some open play from them. People will forget that they were 18th in scoring last year, which is kind of surprising because you would think that they were just 31st in both stats. Defensively, yes, they were a tire fire. They were the Islanders from a year ago. So they probably don't climb out of last, but they'll be playing with less nervous energy around them this year. A little bit more freedom. The young guys can really find their place. But yeah, still last place, not looking fantastic. But hey, leads to a good draft pick for the future. They build on what they have already, and maybe Erik Brandstrom cracks the lineup and we see a little bit better defense, but we'll see. All right, so next we have the Detroit Red Wings. All right, so we have another team that's rebuilding. They have youth being infused into the lineup. There's a little bit more star power because Dylan Larkin is awesome. We have also Athanasiou. See you later. Am I right? Please kill me. What else do we have? There's not any defense on this team, so that's a problem. And the goaltending's not great. And I don't think it's getting much better this year. They don't actually. Ottawa has a little bit of a leg up when it comes to they have Erik Brandstrom in the minors to look forward to. Detroit right now has kind of their rookies are in the lineup, but I'm not a fan of the fact that Roenick is playing with kind of crappy veteran defensemen outside of Mike Green. Danny DeKeyser and Eriksson are not very good anymore. They would have moved Eriksson if they could have because his contract's terrible, and he's not good. So the Wings, I think it's the star power that gets them ahead of Ottawa. They have a little bit more structure. Dylan Larkin is the best player between the two teams there. So, yeah, Detroit, not a lot to say about them. 7th place, another building year as they try to get a few more prospects going. All right. And now we are going to go to Buffalo. They really, really disappointed a lot of people last year. But, that's what they do. They can't miss the playoffs again. But they will. But they really can't afford to. They're 2 coaches in 2 years. Rasmus Ristolainen, who has a ton of potential, won the Green Jacket once again with the most minuses in the league last year, minus 41. Obviously, plus minus is kind of a iffy stat, but they're going to have to make a move. I think if Yoki Harju, I think I pronounced that right, is ready to step up, play in the top 6, maybe they can start to push Ristolainen out. Because they have Montour ahead of Yoki Harju. And so maybe we're talking about they can improve via trade. Ristolainen to Winnipeg maybe, Winnipeg maybe gives up, if they can't sign these RFAs, and we're starting to hear stuff about offer sheets for Connor, and Laine's gone back to Europe. It's kind of a nightmare for Winnipeg right now, but we'll get to that. But the Sabres right now, I don't see... Jeff Skinner, great. Very much overpaid. I think last year was his career year. Jack Eichel, I'm still on the kind of hate bandwagon. I'm waiting to still see him produce and also be able to lead more. Who else do we have? We have Sam Reinhart, actually looked pretty good last year. So that top line is actually pretty good. All it does is get them ahead of two other terrible teams. And the defense is still a work in progress, but it's sort of getting there. Goaltending isn't great, but that could be because of defense. I mean, Robin Lehner struggled mightily in Buffalo. He goes to New York, a team with structure defensively with Barry Trotz, and he's fantastic. So maybe, I'm going to give the goalies a little bit of a free pass here. But Buffalo, I just don't see it playoffs again. But best you can hope for is they come close. Maybe they don't have another 10-game winning streak, but also maybe they don't miserably end their season. They looked like they didn't want to be on the ice for the last few games of last season. So we're going to move on to number 5, Montreal. The Canadiens are one of the teams that I have almost no grip on. They're still there. They're still a decent team, as I've shown in the standings, but they have one of the best goalies in the league in Carey Price. Health has been a problem with him recently. And Keith Kincaid, who I'm pretty sure is a Long Island native, I'm not sure he can shoulder the load if Carey Price is gone. So that's a bit of an issue. And on top of that, last year, offensively, not bad. 13th in scoring and 13th in defense. Maybe that's why they didn't make the playoffs. Maybe it's just bad luck. Maybe that's why I can't get a good grip on this team. Max Domi, a lot of fun watching him. His shooting percentage went up like 4 or 5 points last year, so that might level out. So the 28 goals might be an outlier. We'll see. He'll be playing center. Jonathan Drouin will still be on the wing. Drouin's very good. I love Brendan Gallagher, who's a fantastic two-way forward with scoring punch. And then Lehkonen, I like. But down the middle, they're weak. Philip Deneau is probably best as a third-line center. They kind of forced him into the first two lines last year. And it's going to be on Kokoniemi to move up, be the second-line center. Maybe he progresses that much, and they're just fine. And maybe they're in one of the wild cards at the end of the year. But the East is kind of... It's a fight right now. It's an absolute fight for those last two wild cards. So, I don't know. I see them just on the outside, but they can prove me wrong if Price is healthy. So next, we're going to go to Boston. Currently, a lot of people might be angry at this. This is more, what's baked into this is the RFAs that they still need to sign. If they don't have McAvoy or Carlo into the season, they're in trouble. They do have some depth. I have some hope in Connor Clifton, Quinnipiac grad, who looked pretty decent last year throughout the playoffs. I don't know if he could do top 4 minutes yet, but he could probably help fix the top 6, assuming John Moore and Kevin Miller have a shot at coming back. So defensively, there's some depth there. Grzelcyk is there too. And you're assuming Chara and Krug are, Krug's fantastic on the power play. There's a little bit of an adventure otherwise. But the Bruins have an amazing first line. They got Pasta. They have also a hockey player named David Pastrnak. They have Patrice Bergeron, who's fantastic two-way player. And they have the Rat, Brad Marchand. And then even outside of that, there's depth there. I love Jake DeBrusk. DeBrusk is really good. I think he's going to continue on that second line to really drive play with David Krejci, who had a fantastic year, going over 70 points. So that contract doesn't look as bad anymore. So the Bruins, honestly, if they get everybody signed, just for the future, assume that I have them probably moving up to 3 if they have everybody signed. They have a great coach. They have a great system. Goaltending is great with Rask and Halak. I know they're getting older, but They didn't show any signs of it last year. And so, yeah, I think I have them at 3 if everybody is signed coming into the season. Maybe not as much if Carlo and McAvoy missed time in the preseason, because we saw what that did to Nylander last year. That kind of puts you behind the 8 ball. So that's it for the Bruins. Next up, we have the Florida Panthers, a team who plays in a swamp and I've been there before. It's actually a very nice stadium. Right on the edge of the Everglades, they have, it's the first stadium I've ever been to that has palm trees outside a hockey stadium. It's interesting. Darlings kind of the last few preseasons. Maybe this time it finally comes to fruition. Let's call this playoffs Panthers Take 5. They have Sergei Bobrovsky, who was, in my opinion, a lot of people say he was the best goalie on the market. I would agree, but a lot of people were also saying he's the best by a mile. And then I'm like, hey, Robin Lehner's amazing. So, but Bobrovsky was the best goalie on the market. They get him at a ridiculous cost, at a ridiculous term. But that's the price of July 1st, I guess. And they have seen that their defense is the thing that's holding them back. The scoring is fantastic. They have some of the most underrated players in the league in Hooby Dooby Doo, Jonathan Huberdeau. They've signed Brett Connolly, who's a capable middle six right wing forward, bit of a sniper. Scored 20 goals, I believe, with the Caps last year. So that could be some nice depth for a pretty decent cost. Noel Acciari comes in from the Bruins to add some fourth line grit. So I like both those moves. Anton Strahlman, we'll see. I think it'll be okay for the first year, but they probably overpaid him, and he's getting up there in age. And defensively, they still bring back Ekblad and Yandel. So Yandel will quarterback the power play. Ekblad's a great defender. So they look pretty good. So it's all a matter of Bobrovsky being on the case and Samuel Montembeault being a good backup for him. And yeah, I think this is finally it. We're looking at them in the playoffs. And let's see who they would end up playing in a first-round series. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto, having just signed Mitch Marner and having just sacrificed themselves to the cap gods, may they be praised. So they're now $40 million of their $81.5 million cap is going to 4 different players. See how that goes. They're all in on this year. They have, I believe, every defender outside of Morgan Riley scheduled to leave next year. They don't have anybody under contract past next year defensively. It's a bit of a problem. This is what we call going all in, because if they don't get it done this year, they're in trouble. We'll see if they can loosen some cap up. I don't know about this one. We'll see. I mean, for this year, well, I mean, they're going to be very good this year. They're still going to have, they had a top 5 offense last year, which brings back pretty much everybody now except for Connor Brown. But they brought back Kapanen and Andreas Johnsson, and they look pretty good. Dubas did a really good job of bringing back the core. And on defense, adding Tyson Barrie, who, from what I've heard, can be a little bit iffy as a two-way defender, mostly on that second half of the two-way. The defense, not fantastic, which is kind of what the Leafs need. But he's a good player. They bring back Muzzin, who they're assuming now off-season to rest. I know he's getting a little bit older, but I think last year he was playing hurt a lot. They get Dermott, who's still injured. So they have a little bit of injury woes at the back end, but if they're ready to go close to the beginning of the year, Cody Ceci is going to end up playing top 4, top 6 minutes. That could be an adventure. We'll see how that goes. But I think they improve from where they were in the 20s defensively last year. Frederik Andersen is still great. What could be the pitfall come playoff time is an effect of the regular season, which is their backup goaltending is still really suspect. I think it's an improvement over Sparks, but maybe not as much as everybody says with Neuwirth and Hutchison fighting it out. So we'll see. They need stability at the backup position because Frederik Andersen can't be exhausted coming into another playoff series. So without further ado, let's go to the obvious remaining team at number 1. Win a cup. Win. Don't get swept by the 8 seed again. It's very simple. You have the best team in the league. You're top 10 in offense and defense. You had the Vezina winner. Win the cup. I don't know what else to say. Just do something. Just do something. It's like the poking the thing. Hey, just do something. The window. It's I don't know if it's closing. We'll see. Cap wise, but they've gotten through cap issues in the last few years. We'll see. Braden Point. They probably need Braden Point to come back, but still, they're so deep of a team, offensively and defensively now. Sergachev is like borderline only going to play top 6 minutes because they have so many good defensemen. Even though I think Shattenkirk goes bottom 6, bottom pairing. Then you get Sergachev up, but they are so good. And if they don't win the cup again, I'm going to throw a hissy fit like the one I just sort of did. So if you're one of those people that likes to skip right to the end of the video with none of the context, here's like the general thing. So let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Also check out the written version of this on my blog, which is in the link below as well. And have a nice day, San Diego.